Forsaken. You've probably heard it, seen it, or played it. But if you don't know, Forsaken is an 8v1 between you and your teammates versus the killer. Is it easy? I mean, it has a learning curve, so it gets easier the more you play it. 2 days into it, the win-loss ratio is horrible. But 4 days now, and the stats look somewhat better. But hey, it's fun. The mind games you can play with the killer as they slowly but surely hunt you down is one of the key reasons why I always come back to this. With these mind games, Forsaken boasts a grand total of 10 survivors to pick from. Your survivalists are battle ready for getting absolutely anywhere but near the killer. With nothing to directly protect themselves with, their roles as a survivor is to lower the timer through generators, and to waste time via juking, distracting, or looping the killer for as long as possible. Noob has 3 main abilities. His Bloxicola, which has 2 uses, gives you speed 1 for 10 seconds, which is probably enough time to extend the chase long enough for the killer to stop chasing you, or to win a last man standing. In the case that it isn't, good luck! The difference between this ability and the item you get is the consumption time and the effects. The ability has a consumption time of 3 seconds, giving speed 1 for 10 seconds. The item, on the other hand, has a consumption time of 6 seconds, giving speed 2 for 10 seconds. But you may think, they're equal. But that's where you're wrong. In a chase, drinking the item slows you down more than the ability, which gives the killer time to gain stamina or get 1 to 2 free hits on you. His second ability, the Slate Skin Potion, which also has 2 uses, gives you Slate Skin 2 for 6 seconds and slows you down by 45%. The consumption time of this is around 1 to 2 seconds. In any situation, this is only good when you can predict a mass infection, cursed spikes, and or a gashing wound, since most people will just wait for your Slate Skin to wear off and pull the most devious M1 combo of the century on you, tearing you to bits. If and only if the killer wasn't paying attention, you could pull a mad dash towards literally anywhere and get away with it. Do note emphasis on if and only if. If you drink the Slate Skin Potion and then a cola, you cancel out both effects, wasting them both. Don't do this unless you just want the achievement. Last but not least, your Ghost Burger, making you invincible. Wait, no, that's invisible. The Ghost Burger has unlimited uses, which gives them Undetectable 2 for 10 seconds and Invisibility 3 for 8 seconds. This is only to be primarily used right before Last Man Standing to hide your presence from the initial glow that the game gives you. Another use for this is right after you hear the sound cue when the killers use any ability that reveals your aura, like 404 Error and Digital Footprint for John Doe, Raging Pace for Jason, and Unstable Eye for 1X. All his abilities make him slow down before consumption, so do take note of that, especially in Last Man Standing and in chases. Just like Noob, 007N7 has 3 abilities to boot with his survivalist status. 007N7 has a clone ability making you invincible. Wait, no, that's also invisible. This clone ability gives him invisibility 4 and an undetectable for 4 seconds. When you clone, do not touch it at all. Even if there is a 2-second window which doesn't give you the effects, it gives you weakness 2 for 4 seconds after that, which is a great opportunity for the killer to jump you. 2 zeros, 17, 1N, 17's second ability is his cool GUI. That is calculated. This is basically a cheat to win most Last Man Standing. Last Man Standing? Never mind. Last Man Standing, by teleporting him to the furthest spawn point which you can see with his passive, and that was definitely calculated. In previous versions, you could use this ability then emote to cancel it, which wastes the time for the killer, since they go to the opposite side of the map. But since you can no longer cancel the cool GUI, he is most vulnerable when he is in the 6-second windup of the teleport. His last ability dictates how his clone moves. It's divided into 3 types: Aimless, which is completely random; Pathfind, the game's way of making the clone go to the furthest spawn point; and Cursor, which goes in the direction of your cursor. But if you use shift lock with the cursor mode enabled, by facing any direction, your clone will continually walk in that direction until you face a different direction with shift lock on. The Sentinels. Their main goal as survivors are to defend their fellow teammates with their attacks which stun the killer, giving the survivor team time to flee the scene before any damage is done. In my time of playing these guys, it's something I learned to use this attacking ability as a defense instead of offense. And these Sentinels also have something in common. I mean, most of the time, I see these guys in a corner but like, what do I do? Try out the Sentinel? You must be out of your mind. And yet, I did it anyway. I needed to know what it felt like as a Sentinel, and it was stressful. I mean, look at this. Shedletsky. Well known for his sword and chicken, his main defense is his close-ranged sword slash, which is usually used around corners so that the killer has less time to react. This slash, if hit, mainly referring to my amazing clips, stuns all killers for 3 seconds besides John Doe, and gives him resistance 2 for around 0.6 seconds. If he does take damage because he missed your swing and get punished for it, he has a healing ability which he can activate by eating his chicken, which heals 5 HP upon activation and 35 HP in the next 10 seconds. To be fair, I'm horrible with him so I can't comment much on the kit, but that doesn't mean I don't suggest playing him either. He is the easiest Sentinel for new players, given that he's free now too, and like, when I say easiest Sentinel, I mean watch this. Going from the easiest for new players, let's go to the opposite end of the scale. Guest is your parry, block, dodge type of guy. His kit consists of 3 abilities, with punch being locked behind block. Block, his primary ability, puts him in an animation which gives him resistance 5 and severely slows him down. This effect makes him practically invincible for a second. If a melee attack hits him, walk speed override, cursed spikes, behead, gashing wound, all the like, and even M1s, he gets his movement speed back, resistance 5 removed, and 1 use for punch. By blocking a ranged attack like corrupt energy, mass infection, and entanglement, you nullify the damage because of resistance 5, but you suffer from the effects that they give. His defensive attack is his punch, which has 2 forms, parry and punch. The parry activates when you successfully block and immediately punch. It stuns the killer for 3.5 seconds and has a shorter wind-up time than normally punching. His punch has a longer wind-up and stuns the killer for only 2 seconds. His last ability, charge, is meant to push the killer away from the survivor that's being chased. I'm calling out those guests that push the killer towards people. His charge gives the killer something close to helpless, which means they can't use their abilities, but they can M1 though. His charge can also be used on ramps to push the killer a lot more back than on flat ground. And on the very annoying 1X and Cool Kid minions, you can charge or punch them and kill them. Some cool things you could do is block and then punch, which doesn't result in a parry because you had a punch beforehand. Another thing you could do is charge and then punch, because so long as you land the charge, you land the punch. There's also baiting with generators, items, and even allies. Generator baiting is when you do a generator, then quickly leave and block, and possibly even parry them. Item baiting is where you look like you would use an item, but then unequip it, block, and parry them back. Ally baiting, however, is something you can do to protect someone who's AFK or a sentry from Builderman, since Guest has a higher hit priority than everything else. Those are some cool things you could do as Guest, so have fun. From one end to the other, let's meet somewhere in the middle. 2-Time is your semi-survivalist semi-sentinel with his whole kit revolving around his revive. To do this so-called revive, you have to use your last ability, called Ritual, where you stab the ground to mark where you respawn and fill up the oblation bar, which is his passive. To fill up said bar, you can use his main ability as a sentinel, his dagger, to stab the killer. When he uses the dagger, he gains resistance 1 for around 1 second, even if you don't hit the killer. Do note that front stabs are very different from back stabs.
Hey, what's going on?
Front stabs give the killer slowness 2 and helpless 1 for 2 seconds, and heal 2-time for 10 health. This fills up a third of the bar. Backstabs, however, stun the killer for 4 seconds and heal 2-time for 20 health. The more alive 2 times the lobby has, the less efficient front stabs become. Their effects on the killer reduce by 0.5 seconds for every 2-time. So if you're 2-time and see like 2 or 3 other 2-times, you best believe you need to hit backstab after backstab to be useful as a sentinel. If we have the easy, average, and hard for the sentinels, chances all over the place. Let me tell you how much it pains me to play him. He's so luck-based that I get stuck with rerolling HP for half the round before I'm useful. Or the weakness stacks just eliminate me with a mass infection from nowhere. You have one main move, Coin Flip, which you guessed it, has a 50-50 for heads and tails. Landing heads gives you a charge for shoot or reroll, and by reaching 3 stacks on shoot or reroll, you can use Hat Trick. We'll get to that later. Oh wow, is that 5 heads in a row? Surely I can get luckier with like 10 heads in a row. Landing tails gives you 1 stack of weakness for 15 seconds, which means you take more damage per hit. If you roll tails and have weakness 10, then wait for the weakness to end, then roll tails again, you get weakness 11. Weakness 11 is super dangerous even when you try shooting. Wait, is that 13 tails in a row? When I said I wanted 10 times, I asked heads, not tails anyways. At 3 charges, shoot has a 90% chance to fire, but it also has a 5% chance to explode or not fire at all. If it does explode when you have weakness, the 45 damage you would normally take would be so much higher. This is where Hatfix comes in. Hatfix resets your weakness back to 1 at the cost of all the charges on shoot and reroll. Because of chance spawning with somewhere between 70 to 90 health, you will inevitably have to use reroll, which can increase, decrease, or make almost no change to your HP at all. He leans so much into RNG that you could play him and you would have just as much control over your coin as if you were flipping it in a hurricane. And if you do decide to play him, milestone for him, good luck, you're definitely gonna need it. Supports. The class that makes or breaks a team. These characters are absolutely defenseless during chases, which make them quite easy to kill, provided there are no sentinels to stun the killer or other supports like Dusekkar for shielding and Elliot for healing. You can probably imagine the number of times I nearly lost it because I died with no sentinels within a 100-meter radius of me, even if there are sentinels in the game. Elliot is the best healer in the current roster. Elliot's kit revolves around his healing ability, which is to throw down a pizza to heal, well, health. Doing more generators heals more due to his passive, and when you heal, make sure to throw your pizza to where people can see it. The skin I'm using throws out an egg, and this egg looks like a mushroom. I can't blame you, Taph. His second ability, Rush Hour, gives him speed 3 for 3 seconds, enough to run away pretty far from the killer. Just use this with stamina since 2 of 10 times I use this, I ran out of stamina. When waiting for his cooldowns, I also do generators if they aren't finished yet, to heal more with the next pizza. I'd advise you to do the same to help out the team by lowering the time and healing more next time. As Elliot though, make sure to prioritize your teams over generators since I didn't know you could heal dead people like this. Taph is a support where he creates almost invisible stationary traps to assist teammates. These traps can be deactivated by a killer with an attack, but the minions of 1x and Cool Kid can't activate them. One of his traps is his subspace chip mine. which takes around 5 seconds to deploy and can't detonate within 3 to 4 seconds after it's deployed. If you are within the radius of Subspace Chip Mine when it explodes, you will also take the same effects of Subspace 3 and Helpless 1 for 3 seconds. The Subspace Chip Mine also self-detonates if it doesn't activate in for 35 seconds. But hey, since you can't attack and the enemy can't attack, it can't go wrong, right? Right? Well, damn, okay. His tripwire, however, can't be activated by him, so that's a plus. This tripwire, when activated, gives the location of the killer, as well as applying slowness 2 for 4 seconds. Only 3 tripwires can exist from one Taph at any given round. Builderman is a support, where he puts down very visible stationary entities to assist teammates. Unlike Taph, however, it's easier to spot these machines so that your teammates can use them. He can make 2 different machines. In the process of making these machines, he is stuck in an animation that lasts 6 seconds, leaving him very vulnerable. Surely that won't come back to bite me later. The offensive sentry is one of the 2 machines that he can make, which shoots repeatedly at the killer, giving them slowness 2 for 1 second as long as they're in the range of the sentry. This sentry takes 2 M1s to break, which extends the loop and wastes the killer's time, which is good. But it can get one shot, with attacks like Mass Infection from 1X. The defensive dispenser, however, heals any teammate around it specifically 1 HP per second. This takes 1 hit to break. As Builderman, make sure to build in places that are safe, which means not in front of killers or hostiles. Therefore, as a team member that isn't playing Builderman with a Builderman in the team, do not go anyone who's playing Builderman while they're building, since you basically deny the entire team a free slowness 2 or free passive healing. Yep, thanks for that, team. Another tip is to use the ledges and high places to build your sentries to make them attack below, which the killer can't reach them, but the sentry can. And for the last support, Dusekkar. Dusekkar is a far-ranged support, just like how Chance is a far-ranged sentinel. Dusekkar's kit forces him to be far enough from the killer so that they can react to them, but close enough to the survivors so that they can assist them. His first ability protects his teammates for up to 10 seconds, which gives them resistance 4 in the entire duration. Upon activation, however, this gives Dusekkar slowness 1 for 8 seconds and prevents him from sprinting while it's active. This shield needs the ally to be in an open area where they can be seen in Dusekkar's line of sight, so you people best beware that sprinting towards me is not what I'm asking. Thanks. If this line of sight is broken for 2 seconds, the shield automatically deactivates, but Dusekkar still gets the slowness effect until 8 seconds are over. If 3 or more Dusekkars, which is very unlikely, are shielding 3 people, the Dusekkars get blindness 3 and slowness 3 for 6 seconds. His second ability shoots out the laser, giving slowness 2 to the killers for 3 seconds and speed 1 to the survivors for 4 seconds. If hit, I repeat, if hit, if you hit the laser. With all 3 classes discussed, join if you haven't, take your pick, and enjoy as you suffer in your permanent home, or something like that. Yep, that's basically it for Forsaken. If you also noticed, I only discussed survivors. It's mainly due to the fact that my killing spree, my skills in killing, massacring an entire lobby, is almost non-existent. So if you let me pick between an N7 who loops for a minute and 30 seconds straight, or fight an N7 who loops for a minute and 30 seconds, you can bet all in on me being that N7. Let's go. I might make another video for killers if the people want it, or when Mili comes out. But since you made it to the end, please subscribe. Little plug on my channel. Thanks guys. Your support can make all the difference, and while you guys watch this, I'm probably on my next video already, so stay tuned. Alright, this is zyalpze, signing out.